The world watched in the summer of 2012 as Spain stood on the brink of football immortality. Already reigning champions of Europe and the world, La Roja arrived in Poland and Ukraine chasing an unprecedented hat-trick. 3 consecutive major international titles. No team had ever done it before. The pressure was immense, the expectations sky high, and the question on everyone's lips was, could Spain complete the most incredible international run in football history? This wasn't the same Spain that had dazzled Europe in 2008. Key figures like Marcos Senna, Carles Puyol and David Villa were missing, sidelined by injuries or moved on from the international stage. And at the helm stood a new man, Vicente Del Bosque, a calm, mustachioed presence with a deep Real Madrid pedigree. Del Bosque had spent the bulk of his career in white, both on the pitch and in the dugout. Compared to the Aragonés era, Del Bosque preferred to pack the midfield with possession-based players and play with a lone striker. This approach gave Spain more control over the ball, but perhaps made them more predictable and less fluid. The Spanish media criticized this approach, which led to Del Bosque lashing back. We have gone from poor to rich so quickly that many people don't value what they have. Despite the criticism, Spain completely dominated during qualification for Euro 2012. They won all 8 games, scoring 26 times and conceding just 8 goals. Before moving on to the main tournament, please consider liking, sharing and subscribing. This is the latest video in my Euro series. My next video will be on Portugal and Ronaldo winning Euro 2016 in 2 weeks. Thank you. Euro 2012 kicked off in Poland and Ukraine from June 8th to July 1st, and Spain found themselves in a tricky group, up against a rising Croatia, a spirited Republic of Ireland, and their old rivals, Italy. Their tournament began with a heavyweight clash against the Azzurri, and from the opening whistle, La Roja looked sharp. David Silva tested the waters early, first with a curling effort that sailed just over the bar, then with a clever cut inside the box, only to fire a tame shot straight at Gianluigi Buffon. Italy wasn't passive though. Just before half-time, Thiago Motta ghosted into the box and met a cross with a bullet header, but Iker Casillas, as so often, was equal to it with a world-class save. Spain came out firing in the second half. Xavi unleashed a thunderbolt from distance, forcing Buffon into a fingertip stop. Moments later, Andres Iniesta found space on the left and fired from a tight angle, only to watch the ball flash just wide of the far post. Then came a moment of madness. Mario Balotelli muscled past Sergio Ramos to steal a back pass and burst through one-on-one with Casillas. But instead of pulling the trigger, he froze, and Ramos sprinted back to make a heroic recovery tackle. It was a let-off for Spain, but not for long. In the 61st minute, Italy struck. Andrea Pirlo glided through midfield with effortless grace and slid a perfect through ball into the path of Antonio Di Natale, who didn't hesitate. One touch, one finish, far corner, 1-0 Italy. But Spain hit right back. David Silva slipped a killer ball through to Cesc Fabregas 3 minutes later. Making a diagonal run from the flank, Fabregas pounced and finished first time to level it at 1-1. Both teams pressed for a winner, but the opening battle between two giants ended in a well-fought stalemate. After the game, Spain lamented what they deemed a substandard pitch. "It's a pity. It doesn't help football very much to have a pitch that was so dry," said Del Bosque. "I'm sure that with a quicker pitch we would have seen a better game." Cesc Fabregas was more outspoken. "The pitch is a disaster. It's lamentable to play on a pitch like that. I can't complain, but we deserved a lot more." Next up for Spain was the Republic of Ireland. Vicente Del Bosque made a bold tweak to his lineup, opting to start Fernando Torres up front instead of Cesc Fabregas. It turned out to be a masterstroke. Just 4 minutes in, Torres announced his return. Andres Iniesta slipped a clever ball into David Silva inside the box, but he was tackled before Silva could pull the trigger. Torres pounced on the loose ball like a predator, smashing it into the roof of the net. Spain had liftoff. They controlled the first half with their trademark passing carousel, pulling Ireland this way and that, but couldn't quite find a second goal before the break. They changed just 4 minutes into the second half. Iniesta let fly with a curling effort that Shay Given could only parry. The rebound fell to Silva, who was surrounded by green shirts, but calmly he danced through the chaos, took 2 measured touches, and tucked the ball into the bottom corner. Vintage Silva, 2-0 Spain. Torres wasn't done. In the 70th minute, Silva turned creator, sliding a perfectly weighted pass into his path. Torres burst through on goal and coolly slotted it past Given to make it 3. And the exclamation point came in the 83rd minute. Fabregas collected the ball near the byline from a short corner and unleashed a rocket from an impossibly tight angle, across goal and into the far corner. 4-0, a statement win. Spain had arrived. Torres highlighted the team's excellent performance. With the early goal, everything was easier, and the team's performance was great tonight. Despite the heavy defeat, Irish fans received much praise for continuing to sing passionately at the end of the game. Roy Keane, however, was critical. I think the players and even the supporters, they all have to change their mentality. It's just nonsense from players speaking after the games about how great the supporters are. Listen, the supporters want to see the team doing a lot better and not giving daft goals away like that. Spain's final group game at Euro 2012 was a high-stakes showdown against Croatia. Both sides sat on 4 points, knowing a win would seal the group's top spot and that a loss could send them crashing out. With so much on the line, the match turned into a tense, tactical battle. As expected, Spain bossed possession, stringing passes together with surgical precision. But chances were hard to come by. Their best moment in the first half came when Fernando Torres broke down the right flank, wriggled into the box, and let fly from a tight angle. But Croatia's keeper handled it comfortably. After the break, the tempo increased, and Croatia began to threaten. Luka Modric, in trademark style, conjured up a moment of magic. An outrageous outside-of-the-foot cross that found Ivan Rakitic steaming into the box. His header was strong, but Iker Casillas was stronger, leaping across the goal to keep it out. With the clock ticking down and nerves fraying, it looked like Spain would be held to a goalless draw. But then, in the 88th minute, came the breakthrough. Cesc Fabregas floated a perfectly measured chip over the Croatian backline to Andres Iniesta, who timed his run to perfection and was left unmarked. He squared it selflessly to Jesus Navas, who slammed it into the open net. Spain had snatched it at the death. 1-0, job done, top of the group secured. Italy, meanwhile, beat Ireland in the other group fixture, climbing to second with 5 points. After the game, Iniesta described the tough match. "We suffered a lot tonight. Croatia are very good. We had to be patient. We had to wait for our chance. That's what we did in the end." Next up for Spain in the Euro 2012 quarter-finals, a showdown with old foes France. The memory of 2006 still lingered. France had knocked Spain out of the World Cup back then. But this was a different French team, one in transition. The golden generation of Zidane, Henry and Vieira had passed the torch to a new wave. Benzema, Ribéry and Koscielny leading the charge. Vicente Del Bosque stuck to his bold, strikerless strategy, deploying Cesc Fabregas in a false 9 role. Meanwhile, Xavi Alonso was poised to earn his 100th cap for Spain, a milestone that would become unforgettable. From the start, Spain imposed their rhythm. In the 19th minute, Andres Iniesta danced through the midfield and threaded a sublime pass to Jordi Alba, darting down the left flank. Alba whipped in a perfect cross, and Alonso arrived like clockwork, powering a header into the far corner before bouncing it off the turf. Spain led 1-0. France's brightest moment of the first half came from Yohan Cabaye, who curled a fierce free kick toward the top corner, only for Iker Casillas to showcase his brilliance with a fingertip save. The French showed more life after the break. Franck Ribéry was a menace down the left, spinning his marker and whipping in a superb cross that found Mathieu Debuchy, whose header narrowly cleared the bar. France pressed for an equaliser, but Spain's defence held firm, forcing them into half chances and hopeful crosses. Then, in stoppage time, Spain struck again. A counter-attack led by Santi Cazorla found Pedro inside the box. As he weaved past defenders, Anthony Réveillé clipped him, and the referee pointed to the spot. Up stepped Xavi Alonso, cool as ever, smashing the penalty into the top left corner to seal a 2-0 win and cap off a century of appearances in style. After the game, Alonso spoke about his landmark game. "It's been a perfect day. To play my 100th game and score 2 goals is very special. But the most important thing is that we're in the semi-finals." The stage was set for Spain versus Portugal, eternal rivals, meeting in the Euro 2012 semi-finals. Leading the Portuguese charge was Cristiano Ronaldo, who had already lit up the tournament, scoring twice against the Netherlands in the group stage and netting the decisive goal against the Czech Republic in the quarter-finals. Spain, meanwhile, made a surprise tactical switch. Vicente del Bosque, abandoning the false 9 setup for the night, started Álvaro Negredo up front. But for all the attacking firepower on the pitch, the match turned into a tense, tactical chess match. Tight, physical, and low on chances. Spain nearly struck early in the 9th minute when Andrés Iniesta sliced through the Portuguese midfield and teed up Álvaro Arbeloa at the edge of the box, but the right-back sent his shot over the bar. Portugal responded around the half-hour mark. Ronaldo found some space and let fly with a low shot, but dragged it wide. Spain struggled to find their usual rhythm, and Del Bosque moved early in the second half, replacing the ineffective Negredo with Cesc Fabregas. Ronaldo nearly had his moment in the final minute of regulation time. A lightning-quick break saw Raúl Meireles slip him in on the left side of the box, but the Real Madrid star blazed his shot over the bar. Extra time brought more caution, but Spain carved out the best chance. Jordi Alba raced down the flank and pulled the ball back for Iniesta inside the box. The midfielder struck it cleanly, but Rui Patricio made a brilliant reflex save to keep Portugal alive. With no goals after 120 minutes, the drama shifted to penalties. Spain's Xavi Alonso was up first, but Rui Patricio guessed correctly and made the save. Portugal's João Moutinho stepped up and saw his efforts parried by Iker Casillas. Tension rose with every kick. Iniesta, Pepe, Piqué and Nani all converted with ice-cold precision. Then came Bruno Alves. He thundered his shot against the crossbar. It all came down to Fabregas. Calmly, he stepped up and tucked his shot in off the post. Spain was through to yet another final. Fabregas reacted to his penalty. "I was not really sure if I would shoot the penalty. I was nervous, but I had this confidence in myself. I said to the ball, please go in, and it did. I think it hit the post, but it went in. I don't know why, but I felt confident." Ronaldo reacted to not taking a penalty. "I was going to take the 5th and decisive penalty, but I didn't get the chance. The coach and I decided that I would go last because it's the one that decides everything, but we didn't make it to that one." The final of Euro 2012 took place on July 1st in Kyiv, bringing a familiar showdown. Spain versus Italy. The Azzurri had marched past England and stunned Germany to book their place in the final. On the hunt for an unprecedented 3rd straight major title, Spain reverted to what had worked so well. Vicente del Bosque once again fielded Cesc Fabregas in the false 9 role. What was expected to be a close, tactical battle turned into a masterclass. Spain delivered arguably the best performance of their golden generation on the biggest stage. It took just 14 minutes for the reigning champions to strike. Andrés Iniesta split the Italian defence with a perfectly weighted through ball to Fabregas, who darted to the byline and cut it back for David Silva. Rising between defenders, Silva nodded the ball into the net, 1-0, and Spain were already in rhythm. Then came a goal of breathtaking beauty in the 41st minute. It began with something as simple as a long ball from Iker Casillas, who flits down into Jordi Alba's path. The left-back passed to Xavi, then took off on a blistering run forward. Without hesitation, Xavi picked him out with a laser-guided pass that sliced through the Italian backline. Alba latched onto it and slotted a calm, low finish past Buffon. A defender's goal that looked like a striker's. It was 2-0, and Spain was soaring. Italy struggled to find a way back. Fatigue and injuries crept in, and Spain smelled blood. In the 84th minute, Xavi pounced on an error from Pirlo and immediately released Fernando Torres through on goal. The substitute made no mistake, sliding the ball into the far corner. With that strike, Torres made history, becoming the first player to score in 2 European Championship finals. But Spain wasn't done. Minutes later, Torres was in again, this time unselfishly squaring the ball to Juan Mata, who tapped it into an open net to complete the rout. 4-0. Utter dominance. It wasn't just a victory, it was a coronation. For the first time in 92 years, Spain had beaten Italy in a competitive match over 90 minutes. More than that, they had redefined what a football dynasty looks like. Tiki-taka had reached its absolute zenith in Kyiv. Spanish players were ecstatic after the win. Iniesta said, "It's unique, it's magical, something that can't be repeated. I think we still haven't absorbed how great this is." Alonso said, "No one expected a game with this scoreline. We controlled the match. It's close to being the perfect game." Well, there you have it. That was how Spain won Euro 2012. In 2 weeks, my next video will be on how Ronaldo and Portugal won Euro 2016. So, if you'd like to learn more, subscribe. Thanks for watching.